Thursday was so good for Mississippi football fans that you were even tweeting to Rivers that you approved of the Mike Leach hire in Starkville. So let me get this straight. Over in the state, right now, running the state schools, you got Lane Kiffin running the North with the Oxford up at Ole Miss, and you got Mike Leach in Starkville. How do you feel about that?
I feel amazing about it because the Matt Luke and Joe Moorhead, the Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach might be the biggest upgrade or one of the biggest in sports history. I am ecstatic. Look, obviously, I make no bones about it. I'm not like too big of a homer, but I'm not the biggest Mississippi State fan, and that's certainly well known. But I'm thrilled to have Leach over there and the entertainment it's going to bring to the SEC and how much fun it's going to be.
Mintzy, a huge weekend on the horizon, but a big one for you last weekend as we chose the NFC wildcard weekend. You went 3-1. You got to be feeling very confident heading into the divisional round.
I am feeling very good. 3-1 last week. We had the 5-1 the week before. Feeling good momentum, and just obviously so pumped about getting down to New Orleans and seeing all y'all and everything that goes with it. But you going to go ahead and rip off the NFL before we talk about college?
Sounds like the Destroyers set up for a good 2020 here, Mintzy, starting hot.
Yeah, oh, man, super fired up. Can't be more excited about the New Orleans trip either, man. I mean, oh, gosh, this is going to be unbelievable. But starting this week, I'm going to keep it going with full picks on every NFL playoff game like I decided we were going to do this year.
Okay.
And we'll start Saturday, 3:35 kickoff. Obviously, the Vikings ripped a lot of our hearts out last week in New Orleans. But the thing I learned out of that game the most, I think we all forgot how good Adam Thielen is when he's healthy.
Yeah, that's fair.
He tore up Lattimore in that game, and he had 8 straight 100-yard games to start 2018, which is an NFL record, and then he kind of has not been the same since. With Dalvin Cook healthy and Thielen healthy, man, that's a lot of balance. Those two guys, Rudolph and Stephon Diggs. The Niners are laying 7 in this game. The Niners are getting 3 defensive starters back, though. They get Dee Ford back. They get Quan Alexander, the old LSU linebacker, back. And they're getting a safety back. But I'm still taking Minnesota plus 7 in the points because every game down the stretch this year for the Niners at the end went down to a field goal.
Yeah.
I know they're getting those guys back on defense, but they play a ton of close games. And I kind of thought all year with the Saints, Packers, Vikings when they were healthy, Niners, Seattle, almost every game's a coin flip that goes down to the wire. I think the edges are so small in the NFC with those top teams that I'm always going to want to take the 7 points. So our first pick is Minnesota plus 7.
I love it. Also, Minnesota, I don't know.
A rush attack and a defensive line travel.
Yeah,
you can take that anywhere. All right, play number 2.
Yeah. Play number 2 is the Saturday night game, man. Gosh, I remember we talked a lot about the Titans on the show this year. We certainly rode them a lot. We had them last week at New England. They're getting 10 at Baltimore. And Baltimore, 10. Yeah, well, Baltimore is one of the best NFL regular season teams ever since week 4 or 5. I mean, we're talking about a team that blew out New England, beat the Rams 45-6 on Monday night. They beat Houston 41-7. I mean, they were rolling playoff teams. But, man, 10 in a playoff game, still a whole lot. We saw Tennessee use that formula last week where if they can get the lead, they can shorten the game with Derrick Henry so much. They can limit the possessions of Lamar and keep him on the sideline. Certainly when I think Titans-Ravens, I think old school Eddie George, Ray Lewis, Steve McNair. Remember all those physical games like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
This feels like it could be a throwback to that with how physical those teams are. I'm taking Tennessee in the 10 just because it's just too many points in a playoff game.
It reminds me of those Eddie George, Ray Lewis teams. Those Ray Lewis Raven teams, Eddie George Titan teams. I mean, those teams had some duels, man.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
And plus,
the
10
only thing
points
is,
in playoffs.
Tannehill struggled last week in that weather in New England. He only threw for 81 yards. It's supposed to be a little warmer weather in this game. Could rain. But Tennessee, if Tennessee's going to pull this off, they need to play with the lead, though. It's hard to come back against Baltimore. They got a loaded secondary.
All right, Sunday.
So we'll take Sunday. First game on Sunday. Going to change my voice. Y'all damn sure know that I didn't come back from my knee injury this year, and we didn't tear it up down the stretch. The Honey Badger being the number 1 safety in pro football the last 8 weeks to not make a Super Bowl run here.
Yep, let's go, baby.
We're hot. We're healthy. We're taking on a Houston team that, of course, I respect Deshaun Watson, but I don't think Houston matches up well with this. They don't have that good of a running game necessarily. And KC, most dominant team in the NFL down the stretch, winning their last 6. I think KC rolls Houston. I'm laying the 9.5 even.
Wow.
They beat it last year in this exact spot, tore up Indy and Andrew Luck in the second round. I don't think Houston, the dome team, playing in the 35-degree weather in KC is good for them either.
Plus,
like
I didn't find that the Texans looked terribly impressive last week. It's just that Deshaun Watson is a much better quarterback than Josh Allen by a wide margin, and that can make up for a lot in the NFL.
That was kind of my thoughts on it, too. And KC played so well down the stretch, though. And Frank Clark and Chris Jones healthy. Houston, Watson got sacked 6 times last week. I think they're going to put a lot of heat on him. And that's the one game that I think is kind of a blowout. I think KC wins this pretty easy. And then final game of the week, we got the Russell Wilson Aaron Rodgers battle. What a quarterback matchup! They're expecting 6 to 8 inches of snow. It's going to be freezing. I hate that because I was leaning Seattle. I hate that. That obviously favors Green Bay. But man, I'm coming back to my theory, like I said, on this NFC. I mean, I just want to take the underdog in all these NFC games because I think you look at Green Bay and Seattle. What did every game those two teams play all year come down to a field goal at the end?
Even
both
the Detroit
these teams
game.
won. Yeah, both these teams win close games and pull them out, but they never blow anybody out. I do think the weather and the freezing conditions favor Green Bay, but I'm still taking 4.5 in Seattle here. Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll is an underdog. You can sign me up.
Come on. You didn't even mention your guy, Mintzy. You want to.
No, I am. I'm getting there. And DK Metcalf. Yeah. The 7 for 160 last week. How was that dude the 61st pick of the draft? People are asking.
Because he ran a bad L drill.
Seriously.
Right? I mean, that's what they tried to say.
Man, but so I'm taking, to review, Seattle plus 4.5, Titans plus 10, Minnesota plus 7, and KC minus 9.5
I love it.
Are the NFL.
3 underdogs and a favorite. Got anything for us on Monday night?
Oh, man. I will say this. Well, there's a lot to say. But best quarterback matchup I can ever remember.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Maybe in any football game, basically. I mean, just fascinating. I do think these teams are similarly constructed, and I think LSU's better almost everywhere. Like, I think, they both have, the big receivers and speed at DB and the awesome QB. And the thing about Clemson last year, everybody remembers them rolling Bama in that title game, 42-16, but that was because they had the 3 first-round picks on the D-line. They whipped Bama up front at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. I don't think they can do that this year. Glad to see Damian Lewis is going to go for LSU. I was certainly happy to hear that. But we've seen LSU's offensive line has answered every test all year. I mean, and it's been so impressive.
Yeah.
And I think LSU's going to score plenty. I know Clemson, Isaiah Simmons is a heck of a player that they move all over the defense on the back end, but nobody's able to cover all 3 LSU receivers. And so if Clemson's going to win, they got to outscore LSU, I think. And I have the utmost faith in, Trevor Lawrence, obviously a hell of a quarterback, has every attribute you could ever want. I do think LSU's defensive backs match up pretty well with T. Higgins and Justin Ross, which is certainly a key factor. I mean, I think Clemson's got way too much pride. They're going to certainly battle and fight, but I think LSU's going to be too much in the end.
Speaking of scoring there, Mintzy, how do you feel about Mike Leach going to Mississippi State? Did he already offer an opinion at the beginning? I thought he didn't expound on it. I thought he just gave a quick. Sorry, Ben, I didn't sleep last night. I pulled an all-nighter, and my brain's not working.
Oh, well, hey, if anybody understands that.
That is completely true. Hey, so who won?
I'd like to hear more on Leach.
Who won the summer, Leach or Kiffin? Who won, the Ole Miss fans or the Mississippi State fans?
I mean, I think the whole state won. But the one thing that I'm interested, expounding, going a little deeper on it, the Leach thing has always been, Starkville fits in well with, he won at the random outposts like Lubbock and Pullman. I think Kiffin and Ole Miss are going to win a lot on the recruiting trail here. I feel like Kiffin can maybe pull better recruiting classes, but Leach always knows how to coach up and find skill guys.
Yep.
What I'm curious about is the Leach stuff. And look, I have the utmost faith in him as a coach, but we all know the Pac-12 and Big 12 don't play defense. So I'm curious. I mean, I think his offense will still do very well in the SEC, but, the elite defensive line and defensive backs he's going to be playing against, I'm very curious to see all that.
Well, that's where it's kind of fascinating, though, right? Because the SEC West is now the Big 12. At least in terms of these spread offenses.
On grass.
Well, there's spread offenses as far as the eye can see. Now, like to Mintz's point, maybe just in the South you get better linemen than you do on the West Coast. There's just bigger, fatter guys. I don't know, but we'll have to see. One thing about Leach, like you said, Ben, he always punches up. He can fight above his weight, and I think that's perfect for Mississippi State.
Yeah, and also just the humor aspect of it. I mean, Leach with the cowbells and stuff is just going to be unbelievable.
Did he look a little scared to y'all when he stept off the plane yesterday?
He looked a little strange ringing his cowbell.
He's got he had like a little bit of like a Stockholm syndrome thing type going on. Like, I don't know what's going on.
So I was supposed to shake it?
But hey, he didn't have anybody tell him to get a burner phone. So there you go.
Only in Oxford, baby. Mincy, enjoy the weekend. We'll see you in New Orleans, right?
One last thing I want to mention. I'm mixing up with Mintz Live from the Second String Tailgaters, who I know y'all know. Rohan Davies is going to be a part of it. Looking like we may be getting a Devin White appearance as well. They actually moved it though because there's bad weather forecast for NOLA on Monday. They moved it to the Jung Hotel on Canal Street, so we got the ballroom there. Oof. Huge throwdown. You can get tickets online. We're going to be mixing up with Mintz from 3 to 5. It's going to be the biggest radio show I've ever done. I'm so excited to just be a small part of it.
Congratulations, Mincy. You deserve it, buddy. I know it's been a hell of a year for you at 19. Good things coming to you in 2020. Thank you.
Thank y'all for having me, and go Tigers.